Emily,
What's up?
how are you?
Yeah, how are you?
Great. It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. How was your Christmas?
It was good. It was super chill.
Same.
Well, okay, so we kind of celebrate on the 24th,
Oh, cool.
like at night. And yeah, okay, so normally it's like a party kind of thing, so we stay up really late, but I haven't stayed up, and it wasn't that like party this year, but I
Right.
haven't stayed up that late with my cousins since like, I don't know, I was like 14,
Ah, cool.
Yeah, we were up till like 3 in the morning. It was,
That's cool.
yeah.
Did you see Santa? Did you hear the reindeer coming down the
Oh,
road?
yeah, man. Come on. Who doesn't?
Yeah. Ah,
I'll close the door real fast. What about you?
that was good. Yeah. Um, didn't really do much. Did definitely not stay up late on Christmas Eve. Bed at like 10.
Nice.
Um,
Get that
just
Santa bread.
hung out quietly with my family. So yeah,
So are you in Macomb then?
I'm in Quincy.
In
It's in,
Quincy, okay.
yeah.
Sorry, I always confuse the towns.
It's okay. They're not that far apart. Here, I'm gonna close the door also.
Okay.
Yeah, they're pretty similar, so it's not that
So who
confusing.
plays the drum?
The drum? Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I guess technically me, except it's mine, but I like don't play it.
What?
I think I got that for Christmas kind of randomly one year, and I was like, okay, and it was like cool, but I should play it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's still got a tag on it. Clearly, I've
Are you
never.
serious? Okay, so it's really brand new. Okay, so this
All
is
right.
Emily Hart, not a stranger to the Oboe Files channel. She is doing her DMA at Eastman right now with Mr. Kilmer, and she is the professor on sabbaticals, all right?
It's like I'm on a period of leave. I guess is
Okay.
the
On
proper
a
term.
period of leave. And it's University of Western Illinois or Western
Yeah,
Illinois University?
Western Illinois University.
Western Illinois University. All right. Woo! Great. So do you have a blank?
I do have a blank.
Sweet. Okay. I kind of
All right.
forgot
I
this
don't
one.
know. Is this this is a slightly more. I'll start with a real. At least for me, my blanks I tend to like cut them open the first day, so my
Yeah, me
blank is
too.
clipped open. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I didn't clip this one open because I just tied it like
Okay,
10 minutes ago.
nice, nice.
But I know a lot of people, and I do this sometimes too. We'll kind of leave the blank overnight,
Yeah,
right?
and actually, these blanks, I'm gonna be honest, I haven't made reads in a while because just been like living on. I had some good reads, and
Yeah,
personally, like read making is if I don't have to do it, I don't, which I know
yeah.
is like not. It's different for everyone, but and so I've kind of been existing on my old reads, and so I have these really old blanks that I haven't touched. So this blank has been sitting in my case for like 3 weeks. So
Okay, great.
those.
So it's seasoned.
Seasoned, yes, it's been well rested. Not sure if that's a real thing. I don't think it is, but we can pretend.
Nice. Okay, I'm gonna show you kind of what I'm doing here,
Okay.
which is just this little timer thing.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, so I'm not gonna share it. I'll paste it in the video later, like so that
Okay.
they can see the timer too. But just so you know, we got a real timer, and it'll beep 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 when we're done. Do you want me
Okay.
to set it for 10 minutes and then again for 5, or do you just want the whole 15?
Sure. I can't actually see the timer. It's like not. I don't know if my screen is just weird. It's like cut off on my screen.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, like I can see like the right. I don't see the numbers. I see the other half of the screen.
Oh,
It
lame.
might
Hang
be
on.
me though. My computer has been. I haven't changed anything, but there it is. Nice.
Okay, cool. All right, so we got a timer now. Oof.
All
All right.
right. Ooh.
Anyway, so it's real timer, not making it up. But I will. I mean, I can have it up there while we're doing it. Nah, it'll be better to just have our faces.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so you say when, and I'll start it.
We're just making a read. Like see what we
Oh,
get.
yeah, just so people know, we're doing 15-minute reads just to see what we get. I mean, it's gonna be fine. We've been making reads for a while, but like, it's a sense of urgency, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. This
And
is
while we're doing the
with
read,
context. This is Mr. Kilmer making a read in the bathroom before he plays a recital. So every time
exactly, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. All right, you say when.
When?
Okay, so while we're scraping, tell me about your. Well, let's do superlatives first. So it's gonna be a weird one.
Okay.
what were it's tough because the year's been so weird, so it's hard to reflect on like best ofs,
Yeah.
right?
It's a good exercise though, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To do.
So maybe like I would do best. What was the best like oboe moment for you
Best oboe moment?
in 2020?
Oh, that's kind of hard, because I feel like my year didn't start out super great oboe wise.
Oh yeah,
And then a lot of what I've been doing, like my progress at least, like what I'm happy with about the oboe has been like not performances or anything, but just like me feeling like I've starting to improve and like kind of working on
yeah,
my own self and my own little practice room. And so I'm starting to feel like really good about that. But it's not necessarily like a tangible end goal. It's not like I gave a recital and that was a great moment. I did give a
right.
recital and it wasn't great, which was actually, in retrospect, a good thing for me because it caused me to sort of pause and reflect and like take some time to reset a little bit.
Wait, so you did give a recital?
I did. It was right at the beginning of COVID. It was right when everything here in Illinois, at least, went like virtual, and so it was just live streamed.
Oh wow, I didn't see it. Is it up somewhere?
It is, but I don't really advertise it because I'm not super happy with it.
Oh, okay, okay, that's fair.
Um, you know, which I don't know if you've had that, where you've given a performance and you're like, man, like that was not very good. Like I need to kind of figure some of this out, and that's kind of what that was for me. So
Sure, sure.
yeah, but that was
I
good for me because I feel like I had just been like kind of making music without being very mindful of it. If that
mm,
makes sense. Just
that's
kind of
easy to
doing
fall
it because I
into.
thought I was supposed to.
Yeah,
So COVID really allowed me to just sort of like stop for a little bit because I didn't have any gigs. And so I kind of stopped playing for a little bit there. And I was like, all right, this is gotta make some changes. So it was good to come back to the oboe and reset a little bit.
right, right. Wow. So both of us auditioned for schools in 2020.
We did. I actually auditioned for schools in 2018.
Oh,
It
right,
was
yeah,
like I think it was 2018.
yeah. Oh,
But
that's
we did. Both of
right.
us went to school in 2020.
Yeah, I forgot that. Well, and actually, both of us auditioned for schools as well in 2018.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But I did again in 2020.
Nice.
And you had I forget what it was. Is like I guess you got to defer for a year before you went up there?
Yeah, technically, like, got accepted back to Eastman in 2018 for the. I guess it was 2019 because I was accepted for fall 2019,
Right. Okay.
and then I deferred that for a year to sort of finish out teaching, which was good. So yeah.
That's so sweet that they let you do that, you.
Oh, I know, and that was honestly a big part because I was kind of on the fence about school in general,
Hmm.
and I wasn't necessarily ready to go back to school at that point. But it was like these programs are open this year, so I felt like I should really audition for them because they're not always open.
Right.
And so that was awesome. It was a big deal. It was a big part of why I like went back to Eastman because I was like, okay, this is perfect.
Yeah. And that's the big thing too, is like for auditions you have to it's not always the right time to be auditioning for a certain school just because there's nothing
Yeah,
available.
yeah,
It's like a job that you pay for.
yep. We shouldn't talk about that too much. It's really messed up if you think about it too much. Yeah, so I would say my biggest oboe moment of 2020 was sort of like, honestly, just like taking some time off from the oboe, which is, which I'm actually thankful to COVID for because,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm just
Normally, like, you can't do
general
that, right? We
explaining.
have gigs, we have lessons, we're like working for things, auditions and stuff, and then when everything just sort of stopped in March, like, I feel like the only opportunity I ever really had, or maybe will have, to just like legitimately like put it away and not have to worry about it.
Yeah.
I feel really lucky for.
And that's a good way to kind of look at it. I think a lot of people struggle with that at the beginning of quarantine.
Yeah. And it was definitely hard to then pick the oboe up again. Like, it was a couple months, really, because my embouchure was nothing. And sometimes it even felt weird to hold the oboe in my hands. Do you ever have that where you, like, put it away for a little bit and you're like, oh, how do I do this?
Yeah,
It
if
allowed
I
me,
take a long a break.
yeah. Yeah, but it allowed me to sort of, like really be able to focus on, like, what bad habits I had and, like, kind of Like, just focus on what it was to play well again. If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
just come at it from a clean slate.
Yeah, like make a good embouchure that's not too bitey, which I often struggle with. Like a good sound.
Really? That's interesting to
Yeah.
me. I did
Really?
not think of that about you.
Yeah, I often I mean, and that's something that I haven't really struggled with like since then, to be honest, because I think a part of it is like stress, right? Like I was always making music and having to practice in these really stressful situations because
Hmm.
I was working a lot, and so when I did have like a free hour to practice, it was like
This has to work.
it have to work, and so I was just like playing on these reeds that probably weren't shouldn't have been playing on that required way too much embouchure.
I see, yeah.
I started biting, and then I started making reeds that required me to bite. You know what I mean? It's like a vicious cycle, kind of.
Right. Well, also like at Eastman, like I just feel like that you play so much all the time. You don't have a chance to like reset ever, you know?
Yeah. And that's not been my experience because of COVID, I think. Like, because I'm there,
Yeah.
I'm not really playing in ensembles right now because
Right.
I don't have to as a doctoral student, but also there's just there's not enough spots in the ensembles for all the oboe
Right.
players right now, which is fine. Like, I'm happy to sort of sit that out so I can have some
Yeah.
like enough time to practice on my own.
Right. Right. I don't know. I feel like it's one of the big things in school that I regret is, just I mean, similar. Maybe not quite as dramatic as your situation, but I was working. I was doing the double major and stuff, and I just felt like I never had time to like address the read deficiency. You know?
Yeah, and that's actually something I see in students a lot. Like, because
Yeah.
students, I feel like they often take on a lot because that's what they're told to do, and
Right.
it's good, right? You want to be playing a lot. That's how you learn. It's like you learn a lot about musicianship that way.
Yeah.
But it's a double-edged sword because you have to give yourself time
To
to figure out
bake.
the problems that allow you to play well.
Yeah. Yeah. And I thought it was okay, because I was planning lessons. I think part of Mr. Kilmer's mentality is like make it work kind of thing,
Yeah, you
which
play
is
the reed doesn't play you. It's like a
right, which is awesome. Like I love that philosophy, but at the same time, you can drive yourself into the ground if you're
yeah,
not
for
careful.
sure. Yeah,
So actually, I'm making a ton of reads in the last couple months for other people. Is the whole
nice.
thing. So I hope they're okay. People keep playing on them. So
I would assume. All right, so what about you? What are your like? What's a top oboe moment for you of
top
2020?
a moment. I think similar to you. Like I feel like I've really had time to like I feel like I wasn't playing very efficiently at all, which is one of the reasons I really like studying with Dr. Parker, even though it's all virtual.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but he doesn't. I think he barely puts the reed in his mouth. He just it's all blowing. So like I've really benefited a lot from getting away from the mouth part of playing the oboe.
the mouth part. Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I understand it's hard. I don't like talking about it so much because I know COVID has been so hard for so many people.
yeah.
I don't like to just like sit around and sort of tout all the
Because how
positives.
great it is. Yeah, because it's not very clear. It's not great.
It's not great, like we all know that, but I do think that it's been like backwards helpful in a way for me personally. I know it's not like that for a lot of people, but
Yeah, economically terrible, but
economically awful. Right,
health wise terrible.
right.
But for being in isolation, great.
Which are a lot of people I know like they struggle with the isolation part. I don't know about you, like I'm pretty comfortable just like hanging out by myself
Oh,
for days.
I am psychologically not built for that.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, so it's been, I don't know. It's been interesting for sure. I mean, I've taken it really seriously. Like, I thank goodness my roommates as well have as well. Um,
Same. I feel like that
sorry?
well that my no, it's cool. That's what we're doing. I
Yeah.
feel thankful that my like sort of inner circle I have like kind of a quarantine bubble, like the people in my quarantine bubble
Right.
all took me
Very,
seriously, which allows us to have a quarantine bubble and feel okay.
yeah, yeah. Okay, we got 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
Yeah.
Alright.
It sounds good already, though. You're cooking.
Pretty well. It's this cane I'm using. It makes a read like pretty quickly, which is
Oh, let's
nice.
talk about that. What's the cane going on?
Okay, so I feel like I shouldn't publicize this too much because it's like a secret almost, but I'm gonna say it anyways. I've been buying. I have some other blanks in my case that are like Ross gouged cane that I process and
Yeah.
gouge. But I've been buying this gouged cane from obocane.com, which is a German. It's like from Germany, so sometimes
Yeah,
it takes like months to come over here. Um, and it's like European cane, but they also like they'll gouge it like an American gouge. I don't know. I don't know what gouge it is. I just know that
pastry gouge.
I'm making super consistent reads from it. So
Wow. Okay.
um,
So, and are you using your own Ross gouge anymore or not?
yeah, like this other, I have another blank here, and actually one that I scraped this morning,
Hmm.
which is might turn into a read, which is my own Ross gouge, which I really like. I make a
Yeah.
lot of good reads from it. It's just if I want a quick read and I don't have time to like process and gouge cane,
Right.
it's super helpful.
Yeah. I mean, that's where it's at. Is like other gouges trying stuff out.
Yeah, I also have an Inalady, but I haven't used it in a while.
Really?
Yeah,
That's what I'm using right now.
cool for like making a quick read. Like if I need to just make a read in that day,
Yeah.
I can like just gouge on the Inalady and.
Yeah. It's so quick. I think it's also cool because like there's a lot of oboists that I didn't ever, and musicians in general that I didn't ever think about singing and perform, who have put out like a lot of online stuff
Ooh, yeah.
recently. Actually, the Minnesota Orchestra does those live recorded concerts. You know,
Nice.
those have been
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, for a while in the beginning of the quarantine, I mean, this isn't new or anything, but the Berlin Phil's like streaming service was free. It was like a month.
Yeah.
And so
I
I
only
kept,
saw one concert through that. I feel like such a not. I didn't take advantage of it at all.
my favorite though is it's Jonathan Kelly's Strauss. Like,
Oh,
it's amazing. It's so good. It's like perfect. It's perfect. It's a
yeah.
live, and it's stunning.
Yeah, that guy's a monster, right?
Yeah, I feel like he's like the less famous one, right? Like everybody loves Albert Meyer, and he's of course like a beautiful and a great player, but
Yeah.
and his Strauss is up there as well. But I really liked Jonathan Kelly's. It was like much more sensitive. I felt it was beautiful.
Really? That's it. Where is he from? Is he from England?
I think so.
That's so interesting.
I'm trying to think what else. The Detroit Symphony had a bunch of. I don't know if they're still doing it. They had a like they made their like full streaming library free for a while.
Really? Cool. There was like the Met Opera was free for a little bit, but I didn't see an opera through it, unfortunately.
I didn't know, I'll be
There was
honest.
just so much going on at that time.
You know. Nice. A little Silvestrini.
Well, Silvestrini. So what are you working on right now?
Well, right now, I've been traveling a little bit, like not a lot, and like pretty. But so I haven't practiced in like seriously. I would say for like a week. I've been playing a little bit, but.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm trying. I'm giving a recital in March. About 3 months, and so I'm starting to kind of like try to
Great.
figure out what I want to play, what the program will look like.
That's
I know
awesome.
I'm going to play the Holiger Sonata, so I've just been working on that.
I played like one movement of it for grad school auditions.
Which
It,
movement? Second one?
well, I tried to do one and two,
Oh,
but I
nice.
only played one because I didn't feel good about two.
It's really hard. So I'm really trying to like my goal for the break is to get that feeling really comfortable. So then when I go back for school, I can like focus on the rest of it and just kind of like maintain my Holiger, because I feel like that's
Yeah,
the hardest one. At
yeah,
least right now. I hope I don't program anything hard.
right, right. Oh, that's it.
Oh man! All right.
All right, I need to clip this read real fast. That's it.
Okay, let's do it after 30-second finish.
Okay, bonus 30 seconds for whatever.
Because I had just taken a bunch out of my tip on one side, so now I'm just going to even it out.
Oh, I lost my razor blade. So I have razor blades that I was using for shaping, and I hate using those for clipping.
Why? What's the difference?
The ones I use for shaping are like not the gems; they're like a little bit thicker.
Oh, okay, yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah.
Oh.
There we go. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Frozen. I'm not sure I'm going to like what it sounds like.
What is it?
Test it? What do we do?
Okay, so we can play a holiday tune, or we can play something else. It's up to you.
What are we going to play? Say it again?
We can play like a random holiday tune, or we can play something else. It's up to you.
I like holiday tunes.
Okay,
Still
go.
the holidays, right?
What is it?
Still the holidays, even though Christmas is over.
Yeah. You want to go first or me?
You go first.
All right.
Nice. That's also what I was going to go with. Because
Are you serious?
are you doing that in the key of D?
Yeah, you want to do a different key?
I'll do the key of. Oh, I shouldn't say that. On a recorded video, I was saying I'll do the key of E.
Do it. That read sounds so good.
It does. I'm having to. It's not finished, right? Like I'm definitely using more
Right.
embouchure than I want to, but
Yeah, these are first day reads for sure. But I mean they work. What is it?
your high notes are in tune.
Aw.
I feel like they sit nice and like comfortably up.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things about the gouge is it just like pops those high notes out.
Right,
Which I
so look
like.
out. Just leave the
But
rocks.
well, I switched between the Ross. This is in a lady, but I switched between the Ross. I've had to mess with it recently, so it's been like 2 years since it was worked on by Phil Ross. So I think I might need to send it in soon.
Yeah.
But I mean, it makes good reads. Just
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I will say that about the Inner Lady. Like, I like how the reeds sit. I feel like I can like they're pretty stable. Sometimes I guess what I don't like about it, I don't know about you, if they feel less. They're kind of shallow.
They're less robust. Yeah, yeah. They don't have that like
Yeah, the sumo wrestler.
yeah, which some people don't like, and it like kind of it doesn't blow me away anymore. But it is still like hard for me to like relate. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
No, go ahead.
No, that was it. I don't have any. Yeah.
Okay, so you're playing a recital in March.
Yeah.
What's some advice you would give? Okay, so sorry, just so background. Emily is taught a lot. She knows a fair bit about teaching. What's some advice you would give to students for planning for 2021?
Planning for 2021.
Yeah.
Um, that's a hard question. You know, I think it's planning can be a really individual thing, but I think like I guess I just make sure your plans are flexible, right? Because you don't know what's gonna happen. Maybe you're planning to give a recital and you're gonna have an in-person audience, and then all of a sudden this like new crazy strain of COVID comes, and that's not gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like I think it's important just to like just be pretty flexible and allow things to happen that you can't control.
Yeah.
And
That's
then
some
like
good advice.
right, and then like within that, just make sure you're like prepared and like doing everything that you need to play well. One thing that I notice with a lot of young students is when they start prepping for recitals, they start to forget about other things. Like they stop playing scales, they stop maybe working on etudes, and it's like 100% like I gotta work on these 3 or 4 pieces. And I think that's really detrimental because scales and those kinds of like maintenance exercises, like warm ups, those things for me at least like allow me to play the music well.
Yeah. Well, and it's like yoga. You got to do it to be able to play the sport, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Um,
stretching, I guess.
Yeah, so like that's one big piece of advice is just to keep those like the base things that you do, like your warm ups, your etudes. Like yeah, maybe you stop focusing so much on etudes. If you're playing like 3 fairlanes a week, maybe you want to cut that down, right? um, but for me, I'm still definitely planning on working on the etudes I'm working on and
Yeah.
keeping that like having some practice based around that because it helps me maintain my technique and just reminding myself how to play well with a good sound and everything. Um, and then
Yeah, that's some good advice for sure.
because I feel like too, like the music preparation part of it actually comes easier for me at least. Like if I have like good bass technique, I can learn a recital program pretty quickly.
Right.
The opposite, like, I'm gonna be in trouble. So,
Right, for sure. It's all about those fundamental skills.
yeah.
Okay, like for real question though.
Okay.
I have never been able to play 3 furlongs in a week.
Me neither. I don't know why I said that.
Okay. I feel like people say that a lot, and especially when I was in undergrad, I feel like I knew people who were doing it,
Right.
you know? And I'm always like, how? I feel so inadequate with my
I
like
don't know. I think maybe if I really that's all I was focusing on, I could do it now. But also, I played the Fairlanes a lot, so like, I'm not. It's not like I'm learning a new Fairlane like
right, you're
from.
like reworking it up at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about like this year I wanted to go through, I'm going real slow is the thing, 'cause I'm trying to record them all.
Okay.
And I just passed the halfway mark like a week ago. And it's like I can't believe how long it takes to like get these furlings to work, you know?
I haven't recorded. I've only recorded maybe 4 of them, and I just do the cycles for the Illinois like
Yeah.
All-State etudes. I've done like 2 of the sets, which are 4 etudes, and it takes me way longer than I think. It doesn't take me long to learn the etude, but for me, the recording process takes me forever because I it's really hard to do it
Right.
like all the way through.
Well, and then when I record it, I'm always like, well, I thought I knew how to play it, but I'll listen back and there's like a couple measures where I'm totally missing the point of the music, right?
Well,
Like,
it's a long process.
yeah.
Recording is stressful, especially etudes, because
Right.
I
Well, it's
feel
super
like etudes
revealing.
are like meant to reveal all your inadequacies.
Yeah.
But it makes it that much harder to record.
And it's like 30 seconds to a minute long, right? It's like
Right, right. But
so frustrating.
yeah, yeah. And especially like I don't know about you, when I record the slow Fairlanes, like they're kind of chop busters, so I can't
Oh,
just sit around and record it all day. Like after 2 or 3 takes, I'm done. I'm like, okay, I need to rest.
right, right.
Yeah,
Oh man, yeah, and yeah. If you don't get it in 2 takes, like, do it tomorrow.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's what, and my because all the All-State stuff has been recorded this year,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
and so a lot of my students were like, recording their things, and they're like, I'm gonna record all day, and I'm gonna do it until I get it perfect. I'm like, don't do that,
Um,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
I
That's
want
true.
you to do it once, and then if you hate it, do it again. But
Yeah, yeah. I have.
yeah.
Yeah, same. Especially the Fairlane. It's almost good to like give yourself a week, like an hour a day for a week. Record. You know what I mean? Or even less than that.
Well,
Like.
they can't save their recordings though. That's the thing.
Okay.
So like they record, and if they want to redo it, they can. But whatever the last take is their submission.
Ooh, that's yeah. See, that's hard. I feel like oftentimes I'll record. I'll just like play it like sometimes when I'm recording, maybe not Fairlanes, maybe the fast Fairlanes I can record. I'll just do like 4 takes in a row, and then listen back and pick one. And it's almost always like the first one that's the
It's
best.
invariably been the first one for me.
Yeah.
Actually, okay, so last year for Orchestra of the Americas, I I didn't read the thing carefully. I thought it was all supposed to be in one take, and I was like freaking out about it because it was like 14 excerpts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like boom, boom, and I had practiced going through the list like so much, like practice recording it, and I went to go do the recording and did them all in one take. And like there were some issues that like maybe I wasn't super happy about, but I wasn't gonna do it again. And then I like took a break and I was like packing up my stuff and I was like, let me like make sure I did everything before I leave. And I noticed that you didn't have to do them all in one take. And so I redid them all like in separate takes for like 2 hours. Like for the rest of the time I had in the hall.
Yeah.
It took forever and I was exhausted and then I went home and listened to them and it was due at midnight, right? So it's like 10 p.m. now. I'm listening to these recordings to like figure out what I want and it takes forever to listen to because I took so long to record. Invariably I end up taking the first take, the one that I did straight through.
Yeah.
And I just I'm bewildered how I still don't understand that fact. Like after all these recording times.
I wonder if it's like, at least for me, like oftentimes when I'm re-recording it, I'm thinking specifically about that one thing that I messed up,
Yeah.
and it almost gets like an anxious, like don't mess up that one thing, don't mess up that one thing, and
Yeah.
because I'm thinking hard about that, there are other things that I'm like not being mindful of. That
Or you're not getting the full like experience, right?
yeah,
Like it's like nobody cares about da 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 da. They want a Tombo to Cooper in, right? Like
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, Tombo, that's a good one. I feel like I'll. For me, the hardest part of Tombo is the da da little us. I don't know why. It's
because they're
like
hard. Like,
that's true, yeah. There's been a lot of times where I'll be like re-recording it and I'll get like the first measure of Diddle-Diddle-Ums and then I'll miss the second measure of Diddle-Diddle-Ums and I'll stop and then I'll like
yeah,
do it again and then I'll miss the first measure of Diddle-Diddle-Ums and then get this.
it's a tough one, but like probably the first time you did it was so genuine that like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter
But
to
I
the
think
person.
when I have taken like real life auditions, Tombo usually goes pretty well.
Really.
I don't usually miss the Diddle-Diddle-Ums, but for sometimes when I'm recording it, I think I'm in my head. I'm like, don't miss the Diddle-Diddle-Ums.
All right, are you just saying this like you could say that a lot more times?
Pretty satisfying. I'm just like, everyone has to try it. Diddle-Diddle-Um.
I mean, we could talk about another extra. You keep saying it if you want. But like,
I'm trying to think of another Diddle-Diddle-Um in in another.
let's see. Where's the other one? In Pulcinella. Dum da 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 da
Yeah,
da da.
Diddle-Diddle-Um. Nice.
I can't think of another one, but I'm sure there's more.
On the spot.
Oh, maybe Scala. Not quite.
It's only one Diddle-Diddle-Um.
Only,
Diddle-Diddle-Um.
yeah, not quite the full Dudley one, but
Diddle-
da da da
That's hard.
da maybe.
That's like Diddle-La. You gotta have
Yeah,
two
da
La's
la
in there.
la on that one. Yeah, sorry, my mistake on that one.
Alright.
Okay, so read making tips over the break before we head out of here.
We're making tips over the break. See, this is hard for me because I really struggle making reads over the break because, like, I don't know about anyone else. Like, I tend to get real lazy on breaks when I don't have structure, so it's really hard to motivate myself, which is the problem with COVID in general. Is like no structure for me, at least. It's been really hard.
Okay, well
Um,
maybe this instead. Like, so you're a really proficient read maker. You just made a read in 15 minutes, right? I'm sure there's people watching this who maybe aren't that quick with it. What's something that changed your read making game?
Ooh, so my
Oh,
remake totally changed when I started to be, and this morning maybe isn't a great example. I mean, it is. It's not a picture of the whole process, but when I started to get really like more organized about it, like I'd make two reads a day, tie two blanks a day. The next day, those two blanks become first day reads. I tie two more blanks. The next day, I take my first day reads and I get them like mostly finished. My blanks become first day reads. I tie two more blanks, and just like doing that every single day like in kind of like an assembly line, that totally changed the game. And now I
okay.
always have reads.
And what happened? What do you do with the reads that don't become reads?
Meh. Throw it
Right.
away.
Okay. I think that's the big thing, right? Is like it's like reads that don't become reads aren't such a heartbreak anymore, right? Because like
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like, fine. Well, I'm got my assembly chain. Like, okay, today only like my two blanks. I only got one first day read out of it because I did something stupid and like decapitated it or something.
yeah,
It still happens. It happened to this read that I was working on earlier before we started the call. But I just clipped it and then made it into a new read. Anyways.
great. Yeah. Are
Why not? Yeah. It's almost more about like the process even then. Of course I need reads, right? But for me it's more about like getting to the habit of making reads every
yeah.
day, like in a consistent way. And then eventually all of a sudden I was like, oh, I always have reads to play. I don't
And
have
this
to
is
worry about this crap.
yeah, and I feel like I heard that so much when I was learning how to make reads. Like, it's about the process. It's not about the end result, right? Which is
Which is
like,
really like a lot of what we do as musicians.
well, but true for everything we do as humans, right? Like,
Yeah, it's true.
and I feel like I didn't really buy into it for years, you know? Like,
Same. Like Mr. Kilmer always told me that, and I was like, okay, and then I never did it, and then I always had was like so stressed out about reads.
well, and I thought I was doing it,
Yeah,
but like that's the thing is like it's hard to really really do that.
yeah. And there are still definitely some days where I'm like, my read making hasn't gone well, and so there's some days where I'm like, oh, okay, I need to make reads. I need to make some reads today, and I'll sit down and make reads all day or something, just to
Right.
like
Yeah.
give myself a couple good reads, and then I can go back to my like little process, and it's okay because I have something to play on.
Right. Right. Super important. Oh man. Well, thanks so much for making reads with me.
Ah, thanks for making reads with me. This is fun.
Yeah, man. Oh, is there anything that is? Oh, your recital's coming up in March. Is that going to
Yeah,
be
asking
virtual
like
also?
2021 goals. I'm sorry, what was that?
So your recital's coming up in March. Is that going to be like? Can people watch it?
I think yeah, it'll be live streamed. As far as I know, I don't think anyone will be there in the audience.
Okay. So like, whenever that comes up, I'll post the link in the description of this video.
Oh, sweet, yeah.
And
Uh,
yeah, go check out Emily's concert, March 2021.
March 13th at 5 p.m. Eastern time.
The Ides of March.
Is that what that is? Oh,
I
crap.
don't know. I don't know. I just said that because it sounds cool.
That's okay. It's
What
not
is it?
March, the
Is
Ides
it
of
March 5th?
Well, my recital's on the 13th, but I feel like the Ides of March is March 5th, right? We'll
I
look
thought it
this
was
up.
the middle of March, but I could be wrong.
Clearly,
If you know when the Ides of March are, leave in the comments.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah, this is kind of scary for me. Like, normally I wouldn't do this in the real world, I think, because I like to program recitals that I think the audience would want to hear. But because this is a recital I'm doing for school, and I have to give 3 recitals for school,
Yeah.
I'm doing like an all solo program because.
Oh, I just did one. Yeah, I totally relate to that.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
But I kind of terrifies me, right? Because there's no, like, you don't really get to rest, and there's no,
Oh.
you know what I mean?
Well, you know Sasha, I forget her last name, Shotilov, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Sasha, what was hard to say? Sasha Pryor now, I think, right?
Oh, Sasha Prior. Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So she did one when she was doing her DMA,
Okay.
and she actually got to take that on the road. I think she got invited to go play that because it was so easy to do. You know, like
Yeah, I had seen like maybe it was earlier this year, a couple years ago. Catherine Needleman was like doing a tour with an only solo program, so
yeah.
I'm gonna give it a shot. And I think I'm trying right now to program solo oboe pieces by oboists.
Oh, that's
So
interesting.
like,
Okay, so we have Heinz Holliger.
and the rest of the program is looking pretty fuzzy. But I think I'm probably gonna try to program something by Alyssa Morris because her stuff is.
Yeah.
She's got one like the collision etudes.
Hmm.
Silvestrini could do any
Easy.
Silvestrini. 'Cause
So he has a new set of etudes. Everyone does the impressionist paintings, but he has another set now.
there's the Russian ones.
Yeah.
Those are cool. He's got some other ones too. Mr. Kilmer has a bunch of his stuff in the studio. There's a couple other pieces that I hadn't even heard of by him.
Yeah. He's more active than I thought. Honestly, I didn't think he was as contemporary as he is.
Yeah, like some of the other stuff has got a lot of extended techniques in it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And then I think I might try to program a piece by Stacy Burke, who is this oboist who we share the same alma mater. She went to Western Illinois, which I did as well. So we had the same undergrad teacher. We didn't overlap at all, but she teaches at a small school up in Wisconsin, and she wrote a set of pieces like as they're supposed to kind of be a sequel to the Britain, the Six Metamorphoses.
Oh,
They're based on similar characters.
cool.
I have never heard or seen anyone play that, but I know they exist.
Yeah, well, you could have the first recording.
Right? I'm gonna try to kind of look at those and see what's up. But
That'd be great.
yeah, we'll see. I was really trying really hard for a while to look for something like Baroque by an oboist, because there are lots of oboists that wrote music in the Baroque period of time, but not a lot for solo oboe. So,
Yeah, that's kind of weird. Well, okay, like I don't actually know any oboists who wrote in the Baroque period. Who are they?
so Loyer, Sonata. So here's something that I think is really cool, and this is something that I'm not doing it now because this is for me. It's a potential like DMA project that I have to do.
Yeah.
Like I have to do a lecture recital, so I'm kind of like saving this in the back of my mind.
But they were composers as well, or not?
Yeah, a lot of them were. My
Yeah.
research has clearly been very service level at this point because I'm just kind of
Okay.
like playing around with it.
Well, we should do
There's
another interview post project so we can learn more about your findings.
totally Barth. He wrote a nice piece. It's for oboe and piano though. It's like that's more like late early classical, I think.
Okay.
When Mark Weiger recorded it on one of his old albums.
Oh, I don't know it.
Mark Weiger was the teacher for a long time at University of Iowa. He passed away, but
Okay. So I think he was Amy's teacher, Amy Shirzad.
maybe yeah.
Yeah. So he started this thing called Oktoberfest.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah, yeah.
Which is like I love that name, you know.
I know, right? It's so clever.
It's so good. I think the thing is like it's just clever enough,
Right.
but you know, it's like
Right, yeah, yeah. Totally. I'm trying to think of something that'd be too far with like an oboe pun, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. you don't, like
Oh my gosh, yeah, that guy. So he has a record. Is it the same recording where he plays the Carnival of Venice?
I think so. He has two CDs out, and it's
Okay.
on one of them.
I remember being really blown away by that recording, particularly.
And I think what the deal on that recording is like I think every single thing that you hear in that recording, he's double tonguing just because he wanted to like show that you could do it.
What? That's weird.
I think
So he's
so.
not like he double tongues even when he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Do you double tongue?
I mean, yeah, my double tongue's not great because I don't work on it very much, but I work a lot on my single tongue so that I don't have to double tongue.
Yeah, I don't. I can't really double tongue that fast at all. I've been trying to practice it more. Actually, who is it? Jonathan Fisher at Houston Symphony. He gave me a lesson when I was at TMF, and he was like, so I played, all the tonguing excerpts, Scala, Don Juan, whatever, and he's like, they're fine, uh, but you're not double tonguing them. And I was like, yeah. He's like, so you need to learn how to double tongue them because like your single tongue won't last forever. And
Yeah,
I believe him,
yeah, me too.
but it's hard to have the urgency for it when like your single tongue does work,
I will say that I start practicing double tonguing when
Yeah.
when I'm playing something that requires double tonguing. Like for that recital I did in March, I played the Carnival of Venice.
Oh
There's the one
wow.
variation where it's and you can't single tongue it. So then I was like, okay, and I worked at my double tongue, mostly made it through.
Okay,
Not
great.
really there, but like so.
Well, Mr. Kilmer double tongues everything, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy.
What I can't do yet, which I'm trying to work on maybe over the break, is triple tongue. Like I can go teka 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 or dega 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 da forever, but I can't like triple tongue is like teka 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 like that
So,
pattern
like,
really throws me off.
wait, so let me understand. So it's tongue, throat, tongue.
Tongue throat tongue tongue throat tongue tongue throat like
Oh, like ta ka ta ta ka ta ta ka ta.
yeah, because otherwise if you're double tonguing triplets, then it's like
Your ka becomes the downbeat, and we don't like
yeah,
that.
it's like
Yeah.
kind of like and I that's how I do it because I
Yeah.
can't triple tongue, but it's not very efficient.
Oh, okay, okay.
I'm trying to like work on that triple tongue a little bit.
So that's a coordination issue. Like
Yeah.
for I don't even want to, I mean, like I think I'd rather learn how to juggle at that point.
Oh, oh shit.
Yeah, that's rough. Okay, so double tonguing, triple tonguing. How do we get on that? Oh, we were talking about your your recital.
This has gone way off the rails. But you've been talking to me. What about you? What are your 2021 goals? You have
So I
stuff
want to
coming.
play another recital. I'm learning some rep for that right now. So I did a fundraiser concert for like the last recital, which I thought was a cool idea. I didn't do a very good job of like the fundraising part of it though. So it was like this organization kind that like helps like immigrant and refugee children like navigate their process, especially when they don't have their parents.
Yeah,
Like they reunite a lot of kids with their parents, which I think is really cool.
yeah.
Um, but I think that that in itself is like a underdeveloped skill for me. Is
Ooh,
like
interesting.
well, we were talking to I don't know if you're public with your
Oh, to Amy? Yeah, that's fine.
yeah okay sorry I can cut that out if you're like I'm like
It's cool. It's fine.
leave it in
Use my
okay.
girl. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so Amy was talking about marketing with me and like I'm super fascinated by it, but like honestly it's cuz like I didn't realize how useful it is until recently. And I know they do that now probably at Eastman, but like when we were there, I don't think it was like
Yeah, I feel like this is a new thing that a
yeah.
lot of schools are now starting to be like, oh, we should probably educate our students on this. And even at Eastman,
Yeah.
it's not like I don't know about the undergrad curriculum because I was never an undergrad there, but it's almost like an optional thing. Like you can take those classes if you want, but it's not necessarily included in the core like degree
Right, no,
curriculum.
not at all. And I've heard a lot of programs now, like I know some people are taking like business minors as music majors and it's like curated for
Oh,
usually it's called like arts entrepreneurship or something fancy, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like that sounds amazing. I would love to take that.
Totally.
But yeah, undervalued for sure.
Yeah,
So I'd like to get better at that, and the only way to get better at it is by doing it, right? So
totally.
yeah.
I also struggle with that. I really struggle with like self promotion, mostly because I don't like doing it.
Well,
I
you're
feel
doing
like
it right now.
yeah, I know. This is fun. I love this, right? But it's I don't know about anyone else, but it's like hard for me to like because it always feels like bragging, and I know that it's not necessarily bragging, but I know that, and I know you also have to do that, but it always feels so uncomfortable to me, so I sometimes avoid it, but I know that it's important to do.
Oh yeah, well, and I think it's kind of funny because like old players have such a bad reputation sometimes for being such divas, you know.
Right.
But I find a lot of old players are so humble that they like shy away from Instagramming and so like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like it's a real skill that a lot of people just don't.
Yeah. That's I fall into that category for sure. I like, and I've also just in general been avoiding social media like for like the better part of the year because it
Yeah.
meant too much. But I like also recognize that it can be really important for
Right.
promotion. It's
Oh,
important.
did you see
I'm
that
really trying to
documentary?
apply those two things.
Sorry, I cut you off. What was the last thing?
I was just saying I'm really trying to sort of like rectify that. You know what I mean? Like kind of get over that hump that I have in my head where I like don't want to do it, but I know I should. Like
Yeah.
running or eating spinach. You know?
Well, you're the most successful vegetarian I know, so
Oh, thank you so
there's
much.
that.
I do like spinach. You know, I do eat it now. Just had to get over that.
All right. I think we can keep talking, but let's let the viewers take a break here from Oz. Thank you so much for making reads with me though, and giving us some wisdom about teaching, oboe practicing, etc. If you guys have questions for Emily, leave them in the comments. She is super generous with like information, so take advantage. And if you have other topic ideas, let me know. I'd love to incorporate that into these little read making sessions. Do you have any last parting words?
Practice your scales. I don't know. I don't know. Teach a bite. You know what I mean? But
All right. We'll see you soon.